Hello ladies and gents. Phew. Okay, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining. Sorry about that small delay. Evidently, I'm not used to scheduling a live stream in advance, and the connection between OBS and YouTube... Hello ladies and gents. Yeah, there you go, that I'm in. Phew. Yeah, so my connection between YouTube and OBS, for some reason, disconnected, and so whenever I hit go live on OBS, it created a completely fresh live stream URL on my channel, and I'm like, oh, anyway, so I'm here, and we have a flyable aircraft this evening, so I'm really looking forward to this. So we are here at Honolulu, and without much further ado, let's just get stuck in, because I know people have been sat there waiting for 5 minutes. So yeah, so we are at the main terminal for Makulali. Oh, I've gone and... Hello, a listener, good to see you. Yeah, I saw your post earlier that you'd managed to get in. Makulali? I watched a YouTube video of a first officer who flies for this airline like 20 minutes ago, and I heard the way he pronounced the airline, and I was like, okay, and now it's gone out of my brain. So Mokulele? It could be Mokulele. I think that could be it. I could be onto a winner there. Anyway, in the Honolulu scenery from InnoBuilds, we actually have the Mokulele. Oh my goodness, I'm going to butcher that. We have the actual terminal for this airline, which is really cool. I really like this. Hello, Lance. Good to see you. So here we are in the car park of the terminal. This is on the kind of northeastern edge of the airfield. If I kind of zoom the drone camera out, you can see the main terminal is off to the west there. And you can see here's my aircraft. And this is kind of where they hang out. And there's the main area of Hawaii, or Honolulu down there. And if I turn the drone camera around, if I actually just raise the drone camera, I'm using photogrammetry, and there's the naval base over there that got bombed in World War II. It's Pearl Harbor. So yeah, really cool. One thing I will say is right now the real world weather is absolutely abysmal. So we're flying with a preset weather condition for my peace of mind. So let's just have a look here. Obviously they've not modeled the interior of it, but yeah, it's a nice little terminal. It's even got the address on there, 3073 Alolali Street, Honolulu, Hawaii. Lots of Alolali thing that I can't pronounce. Lots of oh, look at the texturing, guys. I mean, this is modern scenery at work here. Them some pretty nice looking high-res textures. Anyway, so here's the car park for the airline. It's across from Delta. Is that Delta Cargo? Okay. It's across from Delta Cargo. We've got Royal Hawaiian Movers. All right. Wow. All sorts of things. Big hangar over to my west side. But what we're going to do, of course, is we're going to cross the road safely along the zebra crossing. And what looks like on the actual satellite imagery is there was apparently a path that's probably goes right through here to the apron. So here we are on the apron, and here is the BlackSquare Caravan Pro. So what I've been doing, guys, is I have actually given it a couple of test flights earlier today. One last night when I first got the files, and then earlier today. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a full rundown of this aircraft, full rotation, maybe a second rotation, probably a second rotation. So I've got the whole evening to spend on this, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to get beyond ATC because there's no VATSIM online in Hawaii at the moment. Like I say, the weather in Hawaii right now is probably what is meaning that there's basically no one here on VATSIM. If I actually go to real world weather, watch this. Yeah, we ain't flying in this, lads. And yeah, you can hear thunder and everything. It's like, yeah, we're not going to fly in this, guys. Not until I'm a lot more competent in the Caravan than I currently am. So let's gonna go to Few Clouds. There you go. That's all right. So Nick, hello, good to see you. Listen, on now they are going to get a lot of mail saying they saw them on Peter Mathis' stream. By the way, going to yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna roll with Beyond ATC. So what we're gonna do, let's just see. Let's go into the cockpit, and then let's go into the walk-around mode. What is happening? Okay, there we go. Pilot. Let's go inside and then go Shift-C so that we jump into the walk-around mode. So, because we really want to see the aircraft from this level. Pause for tea drinkage. I think second. It's at that perfect temperature. Anyway, so yeah, the live stream that I tried to attempt, there were a few things that I did note, which is like you get the spinny prop. If you click on the prop, the faster you click, the more you click on the prop, the faster the propeller goes, which is kind of fun. I don't think you can slow it down; it'll just slow down. I'm gonna make myself a tea. Yes, please do. It's gonna be a really good evening. I'm looking forward to this. So Control C puts us into the crouching kneeling position. We ascertained last time. Yeah, we ascertained that you can actually place items manually on the outside. So that's what the engine covers look like, and it's got a nice little flag there so that you don't take off with the engine covers turned on or engaged, or else you will completely wreck your aircraft. Excuse me. And the chocks there as well. So this isn't like a full walk around implementation like A2A, where you can physically like check the oil and check the fuel in the tanks and stuff, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and you can really see. Oh, actually, no, you can put the external power. I didn't know that. Yeah, check that out. Okay, so we have the external power. Yeah, no lands. I've flown this already a couple of times, and it's beautiful. There are a couple of things that don't appear to work, which I'll get to. Maybe it's because I'm still rolling a pre-release copy, or maybe it's just because I haven't learned the aircraft thoroughly yet, and there's maybe a few quirks that I need to account for before I understand how to fully operate this. I'm open to both issues, both things happening. Yeah, for those of you in the chat, please let me know what you would like me to look at or cover, and I can easily do that. One thing I have learned already about the Caravan is that there is like a kind of bypass system which we'll look at, which essentially allows you to engage like a bypass system. So if you are on gravel strips and you are sucking foreign object debris or FOD into the intake, if you have this bypass system engaged, the inflow of air coming through the intake actually comes out of this hatch, which basically means that on runways and surfaces that are not good, if you're ingesting FOD, the FOD is going in, but then it's being filtered directly back out through this side chute, which means that you're saving your engine from ingesting FOD, which I think is really cool, and that's built into the checklist. So we'll see that. Presently. Again, like I said in the live stream earlier on the other day, the failed live stream attempt. The texturing is really on point. BlackSquare, I think the bug splatter looks even better on the Caravan than it did on the Baron, which I love the Baron as well. Really love what they've done with the Baron, and I love flying it. The sounds are amazing. And like I said earlier on in the previous live stream, the attention to detail and the texturing, the level of texturing quality is really right up there. I mean, every single little rivet, every screw head, like you can zoom as far into them as you possibly can, and they all look you know, there's basically no pixelation whatsoever. So it really shows the level of advancement that has come to flight simulation from the days of P3D, you know, where we have decals now that, you know, you can physically get as close as you possibly can to plaques and type and fonts on the aircraft and little signs and symbology, and there's no pixelation. It just looks absolutely amazing. So let's go around the aircraft, starting from the nose. Let's go and have a look. We have some doors. Let's go and crouch here. So this is the Caravan version with the underslung cargo pod, right? Now, there's 3 different variants of the Caravan. There's this with the cargo pod. There's the variant without the cargo pod, which looks quite thin and sleek. And then there's the variant which is the float variant, and we'll see about all those variants. Were you able to fix the tablet? Yes, Lance. So the tablet issue was a bug. It was confirmed a bug. I went back to the devs, I went back to Just Flight, and they went back to BlackSquare. It was a bug which got fixed, and they sent me new files to install. I installed the new aircraft files, and here we are. It seems to be fine now. And there are a few other little things I was finding this afternoon as I was doing a few test flights, which I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. But now I know about them, and I'll mention them. But maybe they're bugs, maybe they're not, maybe it's just me. But we'll get to that when we come to them. So I mean, BlackSquare's textured even the inside of the cargo pods. You can see the level of wear and tear. You can see how many hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of hand luggage items have been thrown in there and have banged around and scuffed the inside of those pods, which looks really cool. Again, yeah, it's basically just extra space, guys. You know, who doesn't love some extra cargo pod space? So those are that's the cargo pods, or the cargo pod. There are multiple sections within the pod. Yeah, it goes quite far back there. So we'll see that on the load manager on the EFB presently. Again, tire, wheel chocks. Yeah, there's a click spot there for the wheel chocks. The tire, very high resolution. I know people get all really excited whenever you show them undercarriage, like it's some sort of weird thing. But yeah. If I zoom in, can I zoom in? No, I can't on this. This is the walk-around view. But I mean, if I was able to zoom in on maybe in the external drone camera from Chase Plane, you know, all of that is completely legible stuff, which is just amazing. And again, of course, because it's a Caravan, it's got de-icing boots. I don't know if that's a boot specifically. It might be a boot, or if it's just a de-icing, like a heat strip that heats up. And again, I don't know if that black section is also of the same. But anyway, very cool. Yeah, I just love this livery. As soon as I saw the livery selection for the aircraft, I immediately gravitated to this, because the one thing I'm really, really liking about the Caravan is the fact that it's actually an airliner. It's actually an aircraft that airlines buy and use. And what I really enjoy is passenger ops. That's my thing. With any aircraft I get, if I can do passenger ops with it, it's immediately a lot more fun, because then there's a whole load of real world routes that I can enjoy and that sort of thing. So jet fuel, of course. This aircraft runs on jet fuel. It's not your conventional combustion general aviation aircraft. And all these hatches, I don't know that these would open up in real life, but you can see the texturing up on here is really good. You can see it's the Caravan runs just into some pretty rough strips, so they've textured the exterior to try and get probably a good middle of the road place, where you've got a weathered aircraft, but not too weathered. Bearded Toad, hello everyone. These new MSFS releases are looking really great. They are. I mean, this is some really... BlackSquare is right up there with A2A simulations. I'd say probably the visuals are on par, if not better than A2A simulations. The sounds I'd say A2A have simulated the simulation sounds, like the sounds of the actual pistons, the individual pistons of the aircraft, of the engine and all of that. The A2A have the edge on that, but the overall sounds, I think I can't remember the name of the guy who does the sounds for BlackSquare, but he's one of the best, so the sounds are on point as well. I'm going to need to drink a lot of tea this evening. We're going to be doing a lot of talking. So you can actually grab the ailerons and move them. Of course, right now we have the thingy. Let me jump inside the aircraft and take off the control lock. Pause track IR again. Come back out. And then we should be able to move the aileron fully. There you go. And if you were to look inside the aircraft, you would probably see, yeah, I can actually just see in the bottom right hand corner, I can see the yokes moving. And actually, let's say if I moved it up, went into the aircraft, yeah, and then if I went back, I mean, this is the level of simulation you've got, and then you moved it down and went back in, yeah, there you go. That's the level of, Boris, thank you, Bearded Toad, yes, Boris. That's the level of simulation we're doing. Massive flap surface. Obviously, the Caravan is designed to be flying into some pretty small strips, and has to get down to a very low approach speed to do so. And so the actual flap surface is massive. If you think of the entire wing of a Caravan, just this is the aileron, right? And then everything else is the flap surface, which is like I say, absolutely massive. It kind of is. It's almost in the league of the Twin Otter, although I would say the Twin Otter takes the cake. Also, the de Havilland Beaver also is amazing in terms of its flap area as well, because the ailerons even work as flaps. The ailerons actually click down and go into like a detented position to match the flap circumference. So essentially, I think it's in the Beaver, everything on the trailing edge is flap surface at that point. That setting. Okay, so let's actually open up the cargo door. So I guess for the passenger variant, you probably wouldn't open this, because you'd have the danger of like passengers falling, tripping out and like injuring themselves. So I guess in regular passenger ops, you probably wouldn't open the cargo door. But again, the texturing pretty good if you look close in on this. For anyone who like their favorite aircraft is the Caravan, and they're interested in doing as realistic as possible line flights and passenger flights in rough places in the world with the Caravan, your birthday has now arrived in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we're flying November 883 MA today, and again, this kind of shows you how tall, how big, high off the ground the Caravan is. You can walk underneath the elevators, and you don't have to bend over. So it's in a way it is a general aviation aircraft. I guess you could call it a general aviation aircraft, but it's kind of not at the same time. It's like a baby Dash 8 in a kind of weird way. Actually, I guess that's a good way of saying it, with the turbine up front and everything. So again, like you can move the elevators and the rudder. Also, there is a rudder lock, which if I lock it, then you can't move the rudder, and that would be for storing the Caravan on the apron. I guess when there's high winds or something, you could store it, and then in your walk around, you just come along and unlock it. And then you've got thingy. And then you can also unlock the rudder lock from inside the cockpit as well. Will you cover the float version too? Yes, I will, Adam. I'll take this aircraft over to my destination, land it, and then I'll take out the float version. The podless version is very, very similar to this version, to the point where maybe I won't feature the pod version this evening, or maybe I will, but I'll definitely get to the float one, because the float one is quite unique. I've not actually tried that yet, so that's going to be really interesting. You can see the static electric discharge wicks, if that's what you call them, on the trailing edges. But as I said in the previous live stream, the texturing, look at the skin Look at the metallic skin of the aircraft and the way it reacts with the light. See all of those rivets. So many developers don't do this, right? But this is the attention to detail you've got here. When you actually look at this aircraft's skin with the reflections, you can see every individual rivet has, it's almost like a minuscule indentation into the fuselage, and that shows in the reflections. Like you could see there, just, yeah, you can see it. You can see it. It looks beautiful. And when you look at it, and when you move in, it's like, it just gives you that feeling that you're not actually looking at a perfectly smooth skin. You're looking at oil canning, basically, and stuff. Again, you've got de-icing on all leading edges, for obvious reasons. This is the passenger, really. This is the main passenger exit and entrance for the aircraft. All the passengers would be getting in and out of there. Like I say, the cargo hatch is probably not opened up on a daily basis. I don't really know if there's anything that is done with the very tail end. There's no bathroom on board, so I guess that's just a completely blocked off area. And again, the livery here, beautiful, really nice livery. Let's just close that up. I think you click the one at the top. There you go, and that folds in, clicks, and closes. So on the right hand side, it's essentially a copy of the left. You don't have the hatches on the pod on this side, of course, and you've got the same issue here. You've got I didn't see. Did I see that bump on the other side? Maybe. Of course. Oh, actually, that's cool. You automatically go into crouching mode when you go underneath that portion there. Of course, with the exception of the radome or radome, and you've got the pitot, massive long pitot there as well. The radome, which on a day like today with real world weather, and that's what you would definitely be relying upon. And then back up here, you've got the massive exhaust flute coming out the side. You have the co-pilot. Does this open? Yes, it does. What did I click? Oh, I clicked on the other side. So if you click on the co-pilot, and then you go and click on the wheel chocks. Actually, no, if I click on the wheels, the wheel chocks actually disappear from behind the co-pilot seat, which is kind of cool. So that's where they're stowed whenever they're not on the wheels, which is really cool. And of course, the co-pilot also has his own little stairs to get in and out of the aircraft, because it's quite high. So let's close that up, and let's close the door. So folks, that's kind of a rough and ready walk around, showing the various details that BlackSquare gives us. So let's jump on in the aircraft. Okay, so so just make sure I'm not skipping anything on the chat. Okay, so let's unpause track IR, and so here we are, and let's just press the ladder, pull that up, and then move my head out, and then open or close. Of course, being BlackSquare, attention to detail. If you open the little window, the noises of the exterior come back to you. I don't know. Let me know in the chat, folks. Is the mix of audio on the live stream okay? Can you hear the background noises sufficiently in comparison with my microphone audio? Let me know before we take off, because it'd be good to know once I start the engine and everything. So, okay, so I'm just going to position my joystick, pull this up here, and just maneuver my stick. Actually, that's so cool. The noise of the yoke moving is bound to three-dimensional space. So if I move my head, my virtual head, you'll hear it in my right. And then in my left. You hear that? That's really cool. So, there's the exterior, or sorry, exterior, the back. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, yeah, 12 passengers? No, you can't fit 12 passengers in here. Well, on the load manager, it doesn't show a maximum of 12, but anyway. Right, so first things first, parking brake is on. What we will do, what I was going to show you actually, let's show you this first before anything else. The inertial separator, if I pull that out and then go to the walk around, there you go. You see how you can actually see through the engine to the outside. That is that now engaged. So that is the lever that we pull, and you can actually just about see through the engine to the other side. That is the actual that is what you use to stop FOD coming into the engine, or damaging your engine. So let's just put that back in. So this is I'm going to talk about one of the first issues with my build, at least. We have working EFB now. So far I've not found, I know, narrow aisle. Yeah, tell me about it. For all those big Hawaiian folk. Yeah. There doesn't seem to be persistence enabled for me yet. Which means that every time I load up the Caravan, this is always the default setup that I start with. So it always starts with the GTN 750 and the GTN 650. Even though I select, let's say, that and that. Oh no, I want to select the KLN 90B and the KX 155B and hit confirm. Then it will update my avionics for me, which is great. But what happens is, whenever I close the sim down and open the sim back up, it always comes back to the GTN 750 and 650. And then the options here I have on the tablet, so VR tablet static position, unrestricted beta range, show beta annunciator, instant beta on touchdown, which I don't use, realistic yoke movement, yes, load with covers and chocks deployed. I always click this, but then whenever I load back into the aircraft, this is unchecked and none of the chocks and stuff are deployed to the aircraft. So that's what I'm saying, as in this pre-release state, I don't know that my persistence is actually working, because as well, whenever I go over to the Hobbs meter, this resets to 0000. Even if I fly a couple of hours, which we'll see, it will always reset to 000. So I wonder if maybe this is just because I'm running a pre-release, or maybe I don't have a specific setting quite right. They do say that whenever you close down the sim, don't just like Control-Alt-Delete out of the sim, because that then doesn't the system doesn't recognize that you've closed the sim and it needs to save the state. You have to close the sim in the correct way. I think the persistence is a 2024 bug. After completing a flight, you need to exit to the main menu and load into the aircraft again before exiting the sim. Oh, weird. But then the BlackSquare Baron doesn't have that issue. This is the weird thing. Thank you very much for the comment, though. That's helpful to know. I'll try that and see. So show Copilot from inside. If I click that, I still don't get my Copilot, which is a bit weird. Also, from the external view, I don't see any pilot or Copilot in the aircraft, which on the Just Flight video on their YouTube channel, you could see the pilot and Copilot in the external, which kind of made me a bit sad. I was like, oh, I wanted to see that, but anyway. I have the same issue in all 2024 aircraft with persistence except the A2A. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So I've come from the A2A world where like it just works because everything is done. All the code is essentially running outside the sim with AccuSim 2.0. So as you well know. So that's the setup I'm going to roll with, guys. Let's go to the payload manager now. Let me just pause track IR. At this stage, maybe it's probably a good idea to just quickly do some flight planning. And I'm going to show you my flight planning. Sometimes I don't on my live streams. I already have this pre-done. But I'm going to do this in front of you this evening because there's a reason. I want to do this so that you can see contextually for later what's going on. So we're here at Honolulu. This is a little nav map, by the way, for those of you who don't know. This is a free application you can download, little nav map, and you install it, and it connects, I think, through Sim Connect with your Sim, and it gives you the ability to plan VOR, radials. You can do VFR, flying, and all sorts of stuff. It's quite helpful. If you don't want to pay for Navigraph, this is the next best thing, you know. So right-click, let's go set departure at Honolulu. So I'm going to come out from Honolulu, and let's say I want to fly direct to Selleck. So let's right-click and select waypoint Selleck. And then I'm going to come up to, let's say waypoint, this one here. And then I'm going to come into this airport here, destination. So that's my flight plan, 93 nautical mile flight plan, nice and short, bit of an island hop. But the reason I've done that, obviously, I don't have any like hardcore GPS in the aircraft right now. I'm going to do a non-GPS RNAV flight today, which is a lot of fun. It's basically, it's like RNAV, but it's non-GPS RNAV. I'll explain it in a minute. It's something that they had in the 80s, just before GPS actually was coming in. It was kind of the pinnacle of what they were able to accomplish with VOR to VOR navigation. Essentially, we have an instrument in the aircraft. Okay, let's just right-click on a VOR and go add range. Okay, so a VOR, as we know, has a specific range, right? And what you can do is you can navigate to that VOR along a given radial, right? Which is a direct line. Anyway, so let's say from here, let's say you're over here and you want to fly to the radial. You're able to fly directly to that radial, and the autopilot will keep you on that line despite the wind, because it's following a specific frequency that VOR is emitting that only is emitted along that line. So the aircraft can track that line laterally, right? That's really cool. But this system measurement. This system that I'm going to show you this evening, I debuted it, I showed it on the Aerostar. This system allows you to choose any location inside this VOR, and you can navigate to it. So let's say I want to navigate to this position here. Let's just add a user waypoint, right? Let's just do that. Okay, let's say we want to navigate to that blue flag. We can now do that with this instrument in the aircraft, because what we do is we right-click on the radial, we measure from the radial out to that point, right, and click, and immediately we have this information. On the radial from that VOR of 228 magnetic, at a distance of 93 nautical miles, from the VOR of the frequency 115.40, that gives the nav unit that specific point in space. So all of a sudden, let's say if we're over at Honolulu, we can now navigate directly to that point by plugging in the radial frequency, the distance from that VOR. Sorry, not the radial frequency, the VOR frequency. We then plug in the radial from that VOR and the distance along that radial, and it knows then that point. So we can now navigate to any waypoint we want within the influence of that VOR. So all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, we can navigate waypoint to waypoint to waypoint like a GPS would. It's essentially like RNAV, but all based on VORs, not based on satellites. That is a rough explanation of non-GPS RNAV. No, that was a bit long-winded. We will make more sense of it as we go. Delete user waypoint. Okay, so that's the idea. So it means that whenever you're planning your flight plan, let's say you choose 2 GPS waypoints. Well, they're not actually GPS waypoints in your flight plan, even though you've selected them. You can quote those to ATC, and you can say, I'm flying inbound Sierra Echo Lima India Charlie, and you are, and it's a GPS waypoint that ATC can recognize, but you're not using satellites to get there. You're using VOR radials and distances to get there, right? So you have to, but when you go on VATSIM, you have to be very careful, because you have to clearly state to ATC that you're following a specific flight plan that looks like a GPS flight plan, but you don't have a GPS in the aircraft, which is important, right? Okay, all of that flight planning explanation out the way. Let's put that into action. Okay, so we've chosen our so let me just go PHNL. I'm just putting this into SimBrief so that direct select direct what was the other one? Jalake, and then direct PHLI. Right, I'm just putting this into yeah, there we go, into SimBrief so that I can generate the flight plan. It will give me fuel calculation, and it will also Beyond ATC will able to pick it up and then inject that. So there's the flight plan. That looks great. Let's just let me just zoom in and then drag that across. Okay, so we're back here in the aircraft. Let me start up Beyond ATC, and that will just start to load in the background while we continue to set things up. Let me just see. Have I missed anything in chat? Can confirm something in SU4 has broken persistence unless you load back in after the flight. Okay. I flew a 2016 model Caravan right seat a couple of times. 9 passengers is the limit due to regulations here. Okay. Here being the US, Nick? Listener, yeah, I watch a BlackSquare video talking about the pre-GPS nav in the Starship. Yes, a listener in the Starship. So it's in the Starship. It's also in the A2A Aerostar and Comanche, and now it's in the I know it's in the BlackSquare Baron and Bonanza, and it's now in the Caravan. So there's more aircraft that are having the system. Canada, thank you, Nick. Nice to see. Okay, so we're back in the aircraft, guys. Let's just plug in our weights and balances, and then we'll be good to go. Good to continue. So SimBrief gives me block fuel of 892 pounds. We've currently got 1,100, so we can back off slightly. That's 800 and let's call it 900 pounds. There you go. That's the closest I can do. That's fine. And then the actual estimated takeoff weight is 7,400 pounds. We're currently 5,500, and it says we have 8 packs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So full weight. I don't understand why at the moment it puts a default of 170 pounds for all the passengers on the left, and then 340 pounds. Oh, it's because they're double seats. Oh, that makes sense now. Now that I look around, they're double seats, not single seats, and that's why it's put 340. But then they're not. Yeah, we're not gonna do that, because obviously there's only a maximum of 8 packs as far as I'm aware. So let's put those down to 170. I only noticed this afternoon. I was like, why are there like super fat people on the right when there are not super fat people on the left? Anyway, but you know, I don't make the rules. So so there's that. Okay, now doing that, we now have 6,800 pounds, which we're close. Let's put some cargo. 60, 70, 80, 70. Let's just make it 70 for all of them. So that's 7,100 pounds. Let's put the rear 7,200 pounds. Let's just load up a bit more. 3. You know what? We could bank a little bit more fuel actually. Let's just go up like that. Okay, 7,400 pounds. That's close enough to our SimBrief set. So there we go. You can click, obviously, you can click all those buttons there to open the various doors. We just did it, you know, when we went around. You can change from kilograms to pounds. You can set your wheel chocks, rudder, pitot covers, engine covers, and the external power on the tablet there as well. Let's go to the engine page. Excuse me. So for the engine page, this right here is utter wizardry. This makes absolutely no sense to me. What's going on? Excuse me. It's just, I mean, you could tell me anything, and I might believe you, because it just looks like magic. There's all sorts of weird like turbine thingies going on. I mean, oh look. I mean, look. You can actually see the animation. You can see those turbine elements very slowly moving. The prop isn't moving, but maybe those are freewheeling with the air current. I don't know. Yeah, this is super cool. The animations on this are really, really cool to watch and to see, you know, as you manipulate. Let's go to the electric page. Is there? I don't know a horrendous amount about electrics. I know like the bare bones. But there we go. There's the cabin heating system. It's 15 degrees Celsius currently. We won't worry too much about that. But then here's the failures. So obviously there's absolute metric butt ton of failures. And obviously you could have MTBF mode and scheduled mode. I think that's like accumulated hours. You know, obviously once the persistence works, as the engine accrues, you know, degradation over time, and as the hours click up on the Hobbs meter, you know, the hours that click up on the Hobbs meter will gradually erode away these items. And, you know, after technically 2,000 hours, you should expect to have a standby alternator failure at some point within 2,000 hours. Engine failure within 500,000 hours, which just sounds like a lot, but, you know, yeah, we'll see. You could turn up the failure rate. It's currently default set to ×1. So that's everything we want to say. Let's put the tablet away. Now, let's start think. That's a gas generator spool windmilling. You can actually see where the gas gen shaft stops and power shaft starts. Yeah. So, like, it's cool. At least for US, you can have 9 passengers with 1 pilot, and you can get an FAA waiver for 14. Oh, right, a waiver for 14. Okay, that's quite a jump. Okay, let's hit fly on Beyond ATC, and that should start loading up. I thought that was already loading, but apparently it wasn't. So let's just let that do. Okay, so the
Beyond ATC. Connected.
Thank you. So you could roll with the checklist on the manual, but in 2024 we have the default EFB. You can actually go to the checklists in the aircraft tab, and all of these checklists are essentially what you would have in the manual. So we're going to roll with these. The before start engine checklist is actually not too difficult. You know, there are some harder ones to do, like the Just Flight F-28 pre-start checklist is horrendously long. So here we go. Pre-flight inspection, we've done that. We've completed that. Passenger cabin doors are closed. Cabin doors are latched. Parking brake is set. Control lock has been removed. Seatbelts are secure. Switches are all off. So, yep, switches are all off. I mean, obviously, there's no persistence running for me right now, so this is all default stuff. Ignition switch can go to norm. Wait, hang on. Ignition switch norm. Yes, oh, sorry, of course, there it is. Ignition switch is on norm. Circuit breakers, all in. For reference, that's what it looks like if circuit breakers are popped out. You can see the red bit. So obviously, at a glance, you can immediately see if a circuit breaker is popped out. Fuel selectors are on the roof. So let's go and put them on both. Let's just double check the... Oh, no, we won't see until we turn the electrics on. You can see the Beyond ATC aircraft populating the sim right now, which looks very cool. So oxygen pressure 1550 to 1850 psi, which is up on the roof, which is correct. And if we were going above 10,000 feet, we'd turn on the oxygen supply for the cabin. The ventilation and air conditioning is currently all off. We won't need that because if you look at our outside ambient temperature, we are about 14, 15 degrees Celsius, so we're okay. Bleed air heat is off. That is that switch there, so we're not heating anything right now. The cabin air mixer is pushed all the way in. The emergency power is on normal. The power lever is idle. The prop lever can now go full forward. The condition lever is on cutoff. The fuel cutoff is pushed in, which is this one here. The firewall valve is there, pushed in. And the enunciators, we can test them. Oh, battery switch. I skipped battery switch, of course. So then if we... Yeah, there we go. Hello, Boris. Good to see you. We are honoured, sir. Your work is filtering through to our speakers as I speak. Your work is beautiful, man. Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Right. So fire detection warning. We'll do that as well. Very clear engine fire. Very good. Flap lever is up. And the no smoking seatbelts as required because we're doing a PAX flight. We're going to put those two on. So you've got a fan. Bearded Toad is a fan there, Boris. Right, so that's the before starting engine checklist complete. So basically the next one is literally engine start. So we're going to do engine start with external power, which is their GPU plugged in. Well, I kind of want to talk to ATC first before I do an engine start, which is a bit of a break in the flow because the avionics... Well, actually... that's fine. Let's just pop the beacon light on. Beacon lights, and let's put the avionics 1 on. And that's going to bring up the primaries. And that's what we can now use to talk to ATC. So, yeah, excited to hear the startup. Yeah, I've already... tested this a couple of times and everything just sounds beautiful. Okay, so let's just grab ATC quickly. Let's see. Let's just listen to the ATIS.
Honolulu Airport information, Kilo 19000.
Altimeter 2970, landing runways 26 right, 26 left, departing runways 22 left, 26 right, 26 left. Advise on initial contact. You have information, X-ray.
I should be writing this down.
Honolulu Airport information, X-ray. 19490 Zulu, wind 240 at 18 S25. Visibility tree, light rain, mist scattered at 2000, ceiling 3400 broken, 7000 overcast, temperature 22.
We're not going to worry about that because that's the ATIS for the live weather, which is that we're not running with live weather. I was listening to it like, yeah, no, visibility 3 nautical miles. No, that's not us. So, right, let's just request clearance.
Mahalo 601 IFR to Lishi Airport.
Hello 601, Honolulu clearance, cleared to Lishi Airport. Radar vector Select.
Yeah, real pilots only listen to the identifier.
Expect
Yeah,
8,000 feet, 10 minutes after
that makes
departure.
sense.
Departure frequency 124.8. Swak 2453.
2453.
Clear to Lishi Airport, radar vector Selig, then Usfield, maintain 4000, expect 8,000 feet to 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 124.8, squawk 2453, Mahalo 601.
Hello 601, read back correct.
Okay.
Contact ground 121.9er when ready for start or taxi.
Ground 121.9 when ready, Mahalo 601.
So that's my virtual first officer who I designated him to look after ATC for us. I could pick up the ATC and do the ATC myself. I'm happy just to let him handle the ATC for Beyond ATC today because we're focusing on the aircraft. So, okay, so he said contact ground when ready for start. We are pretty much ready for start, so let's just request startup.
Buffalo 601 ramp Echo 4 request startup.
Hello 601 startup approved. Call when ready for taxi.
Roger, engine start approved. Buffalo 601.
Okay. So we've got startup approved.
Friendly 205 ramp Echo 2 taxi via Romeo 3 Romeo Juliet. Hold
Okay,
short
so
runway 26
avionics
right.
1 on. We did. Battery
Ramp
volts
Echo 2
need to
via
be a
Romeo
minimum
3
of
Romeo
20
Juliet.
volts
Hold short runway 26 right.
before we
Friendly
turn on external
205.
power. So we go volts. We've got a minimum of 20 volts, which is good. Bus volts should be 24 to 28. I think maybe that is the bus volts, actually. The volt one at the bottom, I think, is bus volts. Maybe. Emergency power annunciator should be extinguished, which it is. Yep. Propeller area is clear. A fuel boost pump goes on. Now listen to the the noises here, guys. I'm just going to do the checklist silently so you can listen to everything. Okay, so we have idle torque. Prop is 400 stable, which is idle. ITT is stable around 550. RPM is about 55%, which is where it should be. Oil is in the green. Oil PSI is in the green. Temperature is in the green. Fuel flow is above 1,000. And our fuel tanks on either side are stabilized and holding, which is good. Generator switch, let's reset that now. And the gen off light goes off. Generator check off. Annunciator is gone. External power is now off. We actually didn't use external power because I didn't turn it on by accident. But we did a battery start anyway. Battery charge needs to be is negative. Yeah, you see how it's slightly negative, which means that the battery is charging by the generator. Fuel pump can go to norm. Let's put in our headphones so we can hear ourselves talk. Fuel boost pump annunciator needs to be extinguished, which it is. The weather radar can now go on to standby, which is... it is in standby. Why is that not... Oh, it's the avionics 2 can now go on, and everything else comes on with avionics 2. We can turn on our GPS or the KLN if we wanted to as well. So nav lights as required. So let's get the nav lights. Cabin lights are okay. Suction check. Suction is 5, holding just below 5 in the green. Remote compass. It is slaved and aligned. So the align is, I think, that the white dash. If it's equal between plus and minus, I think that's correctly aligned, and it is in slave. Ventilation defrost as required. We're okay because we're it's Hawaii in the well, not summer, but it's still Hawaii. And then radios check. So the radios are okay. We're not worried too much about that. What I should have probably done even before, well, now is probably a good time to do this. Beyond ATC is a bit on the loud side. Thank you, Nick. Let me just go and dial that back then for you. Like so. There we go. So this is the unit. This is the KNS 80 that we're going to be using today. So remember how I showed you, and those are all the Beyond ATC aircraft. Remember how I showed you specifically the flight plan? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to plug in these waypoints using VOR references. Okay, so the VOR references we could use this VOR, the Honolulu VOR. Right click on it, I could go measure from, and I could then measure directly to the waypoint, like so, and click, and then that gives me the metrics just here, direct to that waypoint from the VOR. So what we do is, with the unit, we've got this button here, the data button, and which cycles between frequency, radial, and distance. So the frequency we can put in first, and the frequency of the Honolulu VOR is 14.8. So let's pop in 14.8, and then we click once, which goes to the radial, and the radial is 263. 263 for the radial, and then click again for the distance, and the distance is 16.2 nautical miles. So we're going to go 16, and then pull out the dial by left clicking on it, and then clicking up to 2, like so. And now that is going to be waypoint 1. Okay. So the way we then put in waypoint 2, if we pull this over, we can then go, let's use the VOR over here, right click and measure distance to this waypoint, and click, and then we're going to put in this information here, and that is a VOR of 15.4. So what we need to do is we need to use the display and press 2. Okay, so the way these two buttons, use and display, are important. I can cycle through the displayed waypoints by pressing the display button, and there's 4 waypoints that it can save, and then it goes back to waypoint 1, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. It just cycles 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? But we're not actively using those waypoints. We're just looking at the displayed information of those waypoints. The use is set to 1. If I go and display waypoint 2 or 3, if I press the use button, the use then goes to 3, which means the aircraft then goes to track the third waypoint. So this is a split that allows you to view the waypoints without actually the aircraft immediately going to them when you want to view them. You're just viewing them, but then you can individually tell the aircraft, okay, now I want you to actually go to this waypoint here. So we're using the first waypoint, but we're going to now look at the second waypoint, which is, the frequency is going to be 15.4. So let's put 15.4, and then we go, the radial is 0.75. So let's go down to 0.75, and then the distance is 33 nautical miles. So actually it's really quick when you get used to it. And there it is. So frequency, radial, distance. Those 3 metrics for each waypoint. And then you get some more information here. Okay, let's go to the third waypoint. Or did I have a third waypoint? No, I didn't actually have a third waypoint. We can use a third waypoint later. Okay, so that's all we need. It's 2. That's nice and easy to think about. So let's go back to number 1. So we're using 1 and we're displaying 1. So we are 17.3 nautical miles away from that waypoint. We are traveling a certain speed in relation to the VOR. I think the
All aircraft be advised, information 18 now current.
I think the knots that are displayed here is relative to the VOR that you're using to track, not the actual waypoint that you're going to. It's the speed in relation to the VOR frequency you're using, I think, but don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. And then of course the minutes calculated to get to that waypoint at that speed, right? And also you want to be in en route RNAV. You don't want to use VOR, you want to use en route RNAV for this. Just that's the basics. Okay, so that is all the information we basically need. We are now ready for taxi. So let's go to the taxi checklist. Flight instruments we have set and checked. What runway? I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a 26. So let's just set the heading bug to 26, and yeah, Beyond ATC can vector us around whichever way they want to. Also, important note: when you're using this system, you want to change the HSI source from nav1 to RNAV, and you want to make sure that the nav GPS button is on nav, and then your CDI will actually, yeah, you see the CDI is actually going to go inbound to that waypoint there, right? Okay. So cabin lights are off, cockpit lighting is okay, taxi recognition lights, put the taxi light on. Inertial separator, we'll pull that just so you can see what's going on. If you go to the engine page, the BlackSquare aircraft actually determines how much FOD might be coming into the engine based on the surface that you're taxiing over, and it knows that we're taxiing over an apron. So it's determined that there's very little, if any, chance that there's FOD on a well-used airport apron. So we don't really need that inertial separator for intensity of 0 FOD. So that's okay. While we're here, let's not forget to take away the external power. So that's that. Parking brake released, brakes test on initial roll, and remote compass aligned. So what we can do now is we can ask for taxi from Beyond ATC.
Ready to taxi to the active.
Let me just double check. For best startup sounds, open the storm window. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. I should have done that. I forgot. On my next startup, I'll open that.
Runway 22 left, taxi via Zulu, Alpha, Echo, cross runway 0 full left, continue taxi via Echo, Charlie, Alpha 1, hold.
Oh, we have a fairly long,
right.
what?
Mahalo 601.
No, we're not taxiing all that way. No, that's not right. They've just, Beyond ATC's given me a stupid runway taxiing. Oh, there's a Saab 340 over there that's okay. Yeah, it's just giving me a really stupid taxi designation, which I'm not going to follow. I'm going to do the obvious one. So yeah. Anyway, we're ready for taxi. So just pull up. What do I want? That's what I want. Okay, so the important thing for taxiing is the engine condition lever does not want to be in high idle, it wants to be in low idle. That's what you want for taxiing. And when you've fully loaded up the Caravan, be prepared that when you take the when you take the parking brake off, it's not immediately going to move because it's a heavier load. So you do need to bump the engine just out of beta in order just to give it a kick in the backside. And it almost sounds like the engine is died, but it hasn't. It's just the sound of the beta range is quite crunchy. See, it's out of beta. Once it goes back into beta and the light comes on, you can see it it sounds a bit louder. So, oh, that aircraft's gone? Oh, that's weird. That aircraft just spawned over there. Okay, well. Right, so one of the issues here is that the next checklist, which is the before takeoff checklist, the run-up checklist, is quite long. So what we want to do is maybe we should have done that on the ramp before taxiing out to the runway, actually. But we'll taxi the runway.
311, ramp 161, taxi via Romeo 3, Romeo, Juliet.
Okay. Nice meaty external sounds. So it's not this runway. I'm going to cross this runway and then immediately stop for the next one, because there's two parallel runways here.
Hello 601. Contact Honolulu Tower 118.1. Have a good one.
I think technically
Over to
you
Tower
should
118.1,
probably
hello,
have a far
601.
more comfortable taxiing in beta range. Anyway, there, we come to a stop. Let's pop the park brake on. Park brake set. Seatbelts are secure. Flight controls free and correct. Standby alternator now goes on, which is here on the left. Standby alternator check 0 amps on the standby alternator. I don't quite know how to do that though. On the alternator. 0. Check 0 amps. It's not 0 amps. Generator load needs to be 32. Oh, the gen load now needs to be 32 60 amps, which is about, I think it's about 20 amps right now. So I don't. This is the one thing I'm not 100% on. Generator switch needs to be tripped. Standby alternator load needs to be positive. It looks to be positive. Generator switch reset. Fuel boost pump needs to be on norm, which it is. Fuel selectors need to be on both. Fuel quantity check. Fuel cutoff needs to be pushed in. Trims set for takeoff. Let's just set takeoff trim. Sorry I'm not watching chat right now, but you know I will in a minute. Flaps need to be let's just give you some flaps there. Power lever needs to be 400 foot-pounds. So let's pull up let's pull up the power lever to get 400 foot-pounds, which is right there about. Suction, check. Suction is holding. Bus volts need to be 24 minimum, which they are. Inertial separator needs to go on, and then we need to check the increase in the ITT pressure. So I personally can't see any change in the ITT pressure, but yeah, inertial separator off. Check instruments. Everything is holding. Power lever now goes to 1800 RPM, which is the prop here. So let's just pull this back to that's 20, 16, 17, 18, which is about there. The overspeed governor. Yeah, so I don't check 1750 plus or minus 60 RPM. I don't really understand that check, but okay. Power lever now can go down to idle. Pitot heat. Now this is where we check the pitot heat. We want to see the gen load increase when we turn on the pitot heat. Yeah, you can see there's an increase in the voltage. Generator increase, pitot heat off. Windshield anti-ice is next to try. So basically you just need to cycle through these items. Yep, and you can see these 3 items. Yep, there you go again. And the third. Yeah, there is a little bit of a bump in there. So those are those items there. You want to see pitot heat on if less than 40 degrees Fahrenheit. We are 60 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's okay. Ice protection's okay. Heading bug is fine. Heading mode. Oh, this is where we have to check the autopilot. So let's go heading mode. You can see the aircraft, the autopilot actually responding to the heading bug with the observable movement. And heading bug, yoke movement observed, autopilot disconnect, which is that we have tested. That works okay. Battery charging current less than 10 amps. I don't know why we're... Yeah, yes, it is less than 10 amps, okay. Weather radar as required. Let's put that to on, even though we're not going to worry too much about that today. Strobe lights as required, so let's get the strobes on. Annunciators test and consider. I have tested and considered them. Flight instruments set and checked, so we're okay. Also, in engaging the autopilot, it then of course went and changed our trim, so you have to reset the trim. That's a little thing there. Storm windows closed. Cabin mixing air, flush, flight pushed. Fuel condition level now goes to high idle, and the parking brake release. Okay, let's just double check that we did have request departure.
Mahalo 601 holding short. Runway 22 left.
Mahalo 601 en route tower, wind 270 at 14, bus 20, fly heading 220, runway 22 left, cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 220, runway 22 left, cleared for takeoff. Mahalo 601.
Okay, let's go. Landing lights on, strobe is on, and we're moving across the threshold. Transponder can go on alt, which it is. Landing lights are on, inertial separator as required, power level set for takeoff. Annunciators checked. Engine instruments are green. Yes, they're green. Brakes released. ITT 805 max, and the flaps retract at 95 knots. So 805 max is what we're looking for on the flaps. So actually, for you, Boris, I will open this storm just to listen to the takeoff. Pull the torque back to the takeoff range and fly the aircraft. $70 knots, 80 knots. Let the aircraft pull off the runway. What? What? Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna take off. That wasn't me. You guys saw that. I wonder if that's a discrepancy in the scenery. There's some invisible barrier there. I didn't know about that. Right, let's just get off the ground and. What? Did I run over a?
Air Japan 186 heavy miles to ground wind 21.9er.
Ground 121.9 at Japan 186 heavy.
Okay, guys, let's just forget that happened. Engine condition is 98%. Let's try that again. I wonder if there is an invisible barrier on this runway. Let's try this again. If there is, I'll just turn off, like, detect crashes. Yeah. Right. Right, sorry about this, guys. Assistances. That's already turned on. Disable aircraft stress damage. Disable engine stress damage. Disable crash damage. If I've got disable crash damage turned on, why am I detecting some sort of crash? Disable engine stress damage? I'm going to just disable all of them for the moment. Just for the sake of... Right, let's just get back out there. Oh, the storm window? Seriously? That's what the issue is? Okay. I guess I know now for future reference. I wanted to hear the takeoff. Okay, well, if it was the storm window, let's just go back to my settings and then turn off those things. I don't know why I can disable crash damage. I don't know why that's grayed on. ATC and force flight plan, wake turbulences, unlimited fuel. Why is that turned on? Some activities will restrict the number of supported assistance failures. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's just go. Okay, and hopefully the aircraft is still relatively set up the way we set it up. Lol. Okay, so we've still got
FedEx 75 Heavy, ready for departure. Runway 26 left.
Okay,
FedEx 75 Heavy, Honolulu Tower, wind 270 at 14. S20, fly heading 200, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Fly heading 200, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff. FedEx 75 Heavy.
Oh, I need another cup of tea.
Honolulu Tower, November 13065. RNAV runway 26 left.
November 13065 for Honolulu Tower, continue.
Roger, November 13065.
Okay. Right, we're just going to take off again. Don't worry, guys. Thank you, dead mode. Thank you for that. So the standby electric power is on. Right, that's all annunciators are out. We're ready to go. Landing lights going on.
Honolulu Tower. Continue.
Wilco, Cap 3, C Papa.
Flaps set. Right, let's get the torque up to its takeoff position. Let's go again. Okay, so that is 80 knots, checked, and the nose is just gently coming up.
FedEx 75 Heavy, contact, set departure. Have a good flight.
Contact, CF departure.
Just trim a bit. Trim, 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 trim. About 100 knots. Let's get the flaps up. Well, retract at 95 knots. Let the speed build slightly. Okay, so let's think about just popping on the autopilot now.
Mahalo 601, contact, CF departure.
Contact the HCF departure. Mahalo 601.
Let's get heading hold.
HCF departure. Mahalo 601, good day. 800 feet.
1,000 feet climb.
Mahalo 601, CF departure, radar contact. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet, altimeter 2971.
Climb and maintain 8,000 feet, altimeter 2971, Mahalo 601.
Okay, propeller lever 1900.
601, turn right, heading 230.
Oh, 230.
Turn right, heading 230, Mahalo 601.
230 set. Okay, 1900 on the RPM. So let's pull that down to... Well, that's 1900 is where we are. Power lever 1865 foot-pounds. 1865, so that's 20, that's 19, 1850. Actually, 1850 is right where we are, just under the takeoff setting. ITT less than 765, and we are currently on... Yeah, we're just on the borderline ITC, that's fine.
Turn right, heading 265, Mahalo 601.
265. 265 set. Air conditioning heat as required. So that's the max performance climb. The en route climb is kind of slightly less, but we won't. We can do that. Pitot heat, if less than 40. We are still okay for the pitot heat. Ice protection as required. Propeller lever can now come down to 16 to 1900. Actually, let's just stay where we are. Let's just stay where we are. Let's not worry about the en route climb at the moment. Let's just go to the cruise and let's just exit that and go outside and listen to this. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's just have a look. So you can see the setting that we've set. If we were to go directly to our waypoint now, we
601, clear direct select, resume own navigation.
Yeah, resume on nav.
Clear direct select to resume own navigation.
We've just been
Mahalo
given
601.
clear direct. Right, so this is where I found one issue with this system. Normally, because we've set this up correctly, normally, you know, we've got our nav set. We should be on nav, not GPS. We should be able to now on the autopilot hit nav, and the autopilot will now track that inbound radial to the waypoint. But that doesn't happen. I was testing this earlier today, and all the aircraft does is the aircraft just goes into circles. It just circles repeatedly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly the whole flight on heading hold, and I'm just going to manipulate heading hold to stay on that track into the waypoint, which is a bit rudimentary, but that's the only thing I can do until I either learn what I'm doing wrong or there might be a bug fix. I don't know. So
FedEx 75 Heavy, contact Honolulu Center 135.4.
Center, I'm 135.
hello from
FedEx
Arthur.
75 Heavy. Have a
Arthur
good
says
day.
hello. My son welcomes me. My son is apparently watching me. No, he's not. He's in bed. So basically, I spent most of the day today driving my wife and son down to
Contact Honolulu Center 135.4.
meet up with
Have a good day.
my father-in-law, who then
Center on
finished the
135.4,
rest of
Mahalo
the
601.
leg down south.
Honolulu
So my
Center,
wife's going away
Mahalo
for the week
601,
with the baby.
5248,000 feet.
So I've got next week without
Mahalo 601,
Rachel.
Honolulu Center.
I'm going to be doing a live stream next week anyway, but it means that he's away at the moment. So I spent all day driving. I came home. I got home at about 3 o'clock, and then decided to demold the bathroom, and then almost felt a bit weird after demolding half of the bathroom because I was probably breathing in too much mold spray or mold cleaner, and then decided to leave the rest of the bathroom to another day, and then have dinner, and then jump on the live stream. So it's been a weird day, but there we go. So we're coming up through 6,000 feet. Our target is 8,000 feet. You can see how the airspeed is dropping off ever so slightly. By the way, let's just pay attention here. 5.4 nautical miles, 5.3 nautical miles to the waypoint. So what we want to do now is we want to go to display waypoint 2. And when that gets to 0, we want to hit use, because we then want to use waypoint 2 instead of waypoint 1. So that's how you switch. You can see on the little nav map, you can see we're tracking directly inbound that waypoint. So the system works. It's just it doesn't track via. Oh, that's 1,000 feet to go. Alcel. Very nice. Let's just shave off the feet per minute here because of the our airspeed. So let's go to down. Let's go down to 600 feet per minute climb, just so we don't get too slow on the old airspeed there. Yeah, so we're 3.3 nautical miles away from the waypoint now. Super close. There's a Cessna 172 at 10,000 feet off my right-hand side somewhere, but of course I don't see it. Beautiful scenery in Hawaii. So let me just see when I get close. No, I didn't mean to open Blender. Sorry. Clicking on these tabs here. 8,000 feet is coming in, and let's just take off the landing lights now. We can now take off the seatbelts and no smoking. Our passengers can smoke. You are welcome. Right, so we're coming out to cruise. We've just hit our waypoint. So let's now hit use, and you can see we now go to waypoint 2. Now we've gone to waypoint 2, we now want to select our new inbound radial to our new waypoint, which looks to be about there. So let's now change heading hold to match that, and we'll be going inbound our new waypoint. Obviously we'd be doing that via nav mode, but again, like I say, once I press that, we more automatically start going in circles. I have tried matching the nav 1 frequency up in here with the frequency down here, so 15.4. Like if I was to put 15.4 in nav 1, but that doesn't make any difference, because we're not tracking nav 1 in and of itself. We're tracking the RNAV unit, not nav 1, so it doesn't really matter. We don't need to put I mean if I put that, that's not even going to track that yet, because anyway. Yeah, so let's just concentrate on following that radial and we'll be fine. We do need to do the cruise checklist. I am conscious I haven't done that. So landing lights, taxi lights off, pitot heat on if we're 40 or less. We are 40 degrees or less. Let's put those on now. Yeah, so ice protection as required. We have no clouds in the foreseeable future, so smoking seatbelts as required, oxygen as required, inertial separator, inertial separator off. Yeah, my brain is working. Propeller lever, so we're going to pull that back between 16 to 19 on the cruise. So we're now cruising, so let's go 1700 RPM just for the lols. There we go, 1700 RPM set. Power lever. Now there are cruise tables. I've never used them, but why don't we try and use them? So let me pull up the, let me just check how lovely the KLN, very clever unit. Yeah, no, Brett.
601, contact Honolulu Center 119.9.
Yeah, it is very,
Center on 119.
yeah, my co-pilot's handling that. It is a very, very cool unit, and I really like it. My only little niggle is the second I press nav, the aircraft goes in circles, so it's kind of like it's 99% there. I can see it works, it functions as I can show, but I don't quite know what's going on. And the manual is good. It's a good manual, don't get me wrong, but there's something, it doesn't quite give you. I can see my torque pressure is actually in the takeoff position, which it shouldn't be. The manual doesn't really fully flesh out what everything about the KNS 80 unit, which is a bit sad, but that's just the way it is. Let me go and grab the manual now. But you can see, I mean, you can see that everything is working as it should. It's very cool. Right, aviation documents. BlackSquare Caravan. Let's open that PDF. Is the autopilot perhaps using the wrong nav unit? I don't think so. I mean, I've gone down here and I've actually turned off. I've turned off the KLN 90B because, to be honest, I have no clue how to use that. I have no clue how to use that. So if I just turn the whole thing off. GPS push on. See, now this is the weird thing to me, right? Let's actually...
739 Zulu Lee. Contact stiff approach 118.3. Contact stiff approach.
Let's have a look. The avionics selection. Let me pull up the let me... Oh, sorry. Hang on. Right. Here we go. So, if I scroll up to the top of this section, here you go. Using the KNS-80 RNAV navigation system. The concept. I mean, I could sit here and read this in cruise with you guys if you wanted to. What's actually helpful for us right now? Moving of you guys can read this. I think you can actually download the manual from Just Flight already before release, but yeah. So it's just going. These paragraphs are going over what I've basically explained to you. Modes of operation. Other possible uses. Right, flying an RNAV course with the autopilot. There you go. Try the direct to button on the GPS and see if it follows it. Direct to button on the autopilot. Oh, so should we turn on? We'll turn on the Bendix King KLN 90B then. Let it do the self test and see what happens. I'm pretty sure it won't because I have it in nav, not GPS, Nick. But we can experiment a little bit here. We to be fair, we also don't have long until we're descending. So, but let me just go back to the autopilot will only use the Oh, here we go. So the autopilot will only use the KNS 9080 as a navigation source when the no GPS avionics configuration is selected from the tablet interface. Right. Tell me what is the quote-unquote no GPS avionics configuration that is selectable from the tablet interface. This is the first issue I have with the manual, because it says that, and I'm like, actually, technically, there is no non-GPS configuration, because you have the KLN 90B here. You only have two GNSs. You have a GTN, GNS, and a KNX 155B, which I believe is. Because I want the KLN 90B. Well, no, that's the KNS 80. Maybe it's that. Oh no, of course it's not. Because I then just went and no. Actually, oh dudes, that might be. Is that it? Go back to that might have been it. That might have been the change I needed. Right, now, yep, it's in RNAV, it's in nav. Now. Well, I mean, okay. Let's go off track. Let's go off the track, and then let's come back on and see if it yeah. I think again, I thought that it was a bug. It wasn't a bug. I still had that GPS. Okay, this is we are gaming the system now, lads. This is this is where it's at. Okay, so here's the test. We are now off track. Okay, so let's go heading back onto the track. Let's go heading back onto the track, and we can do nav is armed. Look at that. So we're in heading hold, but the nav is armed, which means that as soon as we engage that radial to our virtual waypoint, the nav, it should go from heading to nav. And let's leave track IR in that kind of position so we can see that happening. But you can see we should as we hit that radial, we should then do a left-hand banking turn, and then it should go to nav. And if that happens, we've solved it. We've solved it. Thank you, Nick. I thank you in advance. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? Come on. Come on. Do it. Do it. Come on. Okay, you're on. Do it, please. Do it. Go nav. Come on, it's not tracking. It's not turning. Oh, it's because I should have pressed RNAV. Yo, now it's working. You see me absurdly delighted. It works. I'm so happy. You need to press nav/GPS. Yeah. It was confusing me because obviously there is no GPS anymore, but it's now gone to RNAV. Yeah. Oh, lads. If you look at the nav annunciator, GPS has now changed to RNAV below it. Yeah. Oh, this is the life, lads. Navigating, flying an RNAV flight plan without GPS. This is what I'm all about in flight sim. Doing things like they were done before GPS and satellites. So, also, was it Nick that said, in order to track the persistence, I would need to exit out of the sim into the menu, and then without closing the sim, go back into the aircraft, and then exit the sim, and then it will save all the custom setup that I have set up right now. I hope they fix that, because that's a pain. That is a pain if they don't. I hope they fix that. You say that's an issue in service in Sim Update 4. I do hope they fix that in Sim Update 5, because that's a pain for all persistent aircraft. But lads, look at it working. Look at it in action. Look, right, so since we hit that button, look at that. We're now tracking that perfectly. Look at that. Oh, I'm so happy. It works. So what we're doing, you see now that VOR, what's it called? South Kauai. It's just Sierra Oscar Kilo. We're tracking this virtual waypoint completely based off of the reference of this VOR. And if you wanted to, the thing with this is, you know, with a longer flight plan that's longer than 4 waypoints, and let's be fair, most flight plans have more than 4 waypoints, right? All you do is when you get to the next waypoint, you just cycle to the next, yeah, like that, I think. No, sorry, display. You would just go to the 3rd waypoint, and then when you get to number 2, when this ticks down to 0, you then press use number 3. So basically, excuse me, drinking Pepsi Max. The use waypoint is the waypoint you're always navigating to. The display waypoint is what you want to look at up here, right?
Mahalo 601. Contact Honolulu Center 126.5.
It shows you what VOR frequencies you have preloaded, right? So if you get to the 4th waypoint and you're navigating in towards your 4th waypoint, all you do is you just go back to waypoint 1 and you put in a fresh VOR and radial and frequency for and DME for waypoint 1. So you just cycle through 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 until you get to the end of your flight plan. Similar to a Seaver INS that has 9 waypoint slots. So I'm so glad I've figured this out, because I was reading the manual and I was like, but I was like, I want the KLN 90B, because that's I thought this was, I was getting confused between KNS 80 and KLN 90B, and I didn't realize it's just the naming convention. I've not learnt properly yet, but basically, yeah, having KX 155B on both the primary and secondary gives you a completely non-GPS avionics stack, and that is the setup you need in order to make this work, right? So that's good to go. So 9.5 nautical miles. So you know me on my YouTube channel, guys. I like to specialize in non-GPS aviation as much as possible. The one exception to that is the Dash 8 Q400 by Majestic, simply because it's the Dash 8. I'm prepared at that point to forego my aversion to satellite navigation, simply because it's the Dash 8 and it is amazing. But most other things I'll fly 90% of the time on my YouTube channel is non-GPS. The only one exception to that is the GTN 750, because it's such an intuitive GPS. That's pretty much my one. But I don't do Garmin G1000, 2000, 3000. Any of the Garmins, I don't expect the visual approach runway 17 Mahalo 601. Apart from the GTN 750. What has my first officer told me to do? Okay, expect visual approach runway 17. Let's go in and have a look at visual approach 10. Oh, okay. Okay, they've given me the visual approach runway 17. So if you have a look, this is Beyond ATC, knows that my last waypoint is this one up ahead. So he'll probably give me radar vectors from that waypoint to bring me around to the visual approach runway 17 at this airport, which is Lehui. So, Alysanor, let me read your comment. Have you looked at BlackSquare's Beechcraft Starship? Very, very pre-GPS RNAV. So, I've not looked at the I've not looked at the Starship. I have to be honest. That's probably one of the recent Just Flight BlackSquare aircraft that I've looked at and gone, I'll give that one a skip. But it does look very cool, and it genuinely, I can appreciate that is again a very highly detailed, high fidelity add-on. Sorry, he just gave me radar vectors. I've got to 290. So let's go radar vectors 290, which is only like 10 degrees to the left. So the one thing with this is that you don't actually get a tooltip readout of what the heading bug is. So you just have to kind of hope that you're exactly where it looks like you are. So okay, let's go heading hold. There we go. Thank you, Arnav. Goodbye. We will see you later. Yeah, I haven't looked at the Starship. I have to be honest, it's a weird shape, and aesthetics do influence me. Okay, let's just have a look at the descent checklist. Pitot heat on if less than 40. Yeah, we are still less than 40, so, but you know, we'll just leave it there. Ice protection as required, no smoky seatbelt signs on. So let's leave it there until. Okay, 0.9 from. Yeah, and you see, we've switched from to from on the ADI needle, so that shows us that the waypoint is now behind us, and we're tracking outbound from our virtual waypoint. So cool, this system. I love this system. I want to fly this a lot more in this aircraft, the Aerostar, the Comanche, the Baron as well. I love that more aircraft are coming into the sim with this specific unit, because it gives people like me specifically who don't fly with GPS and want to fly more without GPS. I want to fly on VATSIM a lot more without GPS, because I think VATSIM would be so much more healthy if non-GPS folk, there were more of them. I mean, think about this, guys, right? This year, particularly this year, we're going to get the PMDG 747-100 with the SIVA INS. We're going to get the Inibuild's Lockheed TriStar L1011. We're going to get the Just Flight A300B4 with its dual SIVA INS. That's 3 big major vintage airliners, all without GPS. Obviously you can put GPSs in them, but like, who would do that? Who would buy those aircraft and just to put FMCs and GPSs in them? It is sacrilege. Sacrilege, I tell you. 280 degrees.
Turn left, heading 280, descend and maintain 2000. Mahalo 601.
10 degrees, 8, what was it, 2000? Oh, okay. 2000 selected, let's go down. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's us going down. Pulling back the power. Okay, so no smoky seatbelt signs can go back on. Propeller lever can go, well, that's kind of where we are anyway with the propeller, aren't we? 16 to 1900, and the power lever reduce. Yeah, so that's the checklist there, and we'll just follow. You actually have to update the onboard nav database with floppy disk. Yes, I like it. Have you? Oh, you're talking about the Starship. Oh, that is sweet. That is cool. That is cool. You know that you've got a good add-on when it forces you to update the nav database with a floppy disk. But to be fair, most of the 747s, even until recently, the Dash 400 still you have to update the nav database with floppy disks. I was watching a video about this recently, actually. It's because it's reliable. And, like, why would you change that system? Why would you change that system if it works and everyone relies upon it, and it's like Windows XP. I'm pretty sure the whole banking, the international banking system of the globe ran on Windows XP up until like a couple of years ago, and they all basically, the banking industry, you know, paid Microsoft to keep supporting Windows XP so that the entire global banking industry could still run off Windows XP. And that's like from... So there was Windows 95, there was MS-DOS, there was Windows 95, there was Windows 98, say it with me, children. There was, okay, Windows 98, there was Windows XP, there was Windows Vista, then there was Windows 7, then there was Windows 8, and from Windows 8 did it go straight to Windows 10, and now Windows 11. I think that's what we are. I think that is. That's the span of my life. Pretty sure the first computer I ever used didn't have Windows. It was MS-DOS. My dad was a software developer for most of his career. He's retired now, but he was a software developer, which meant that in the 90s we had a computer in the home. My dad brought a PC for us to have in the house, and it was a Gateway 2000, and the box that it came in, I'll never forget, looked like a dairy cow, like black and white, like wavy black and white blobby design across the box. And it was called a Gateway 2000, and it didn't have Windows. It didn't have an actual desktop. When you started it up, it just had these blue menus that you went into for what you wanted, but it didn't actually have Windows. I played Commander Keen and Duke Nukem. Those were different times. But I cannot lay claim to being like a true blood, you know, from like the pre-internet age, like the full-blooded 80s. I'm not quite that old. There we are. Oh no, crap! What have I done? What have I done? No, I haven't quite learned what buttons to press and what not to press. But I think I'm doing the right. I'm doing the right thing now. That was a bit weird. I still haven't fully... This doesn't quite work the same way that other... Like you should...
Hello 601, turn left, heading 270.
Turn left, heading 270, Mahalo 601.
That's 1,000 feet to go out, so... Okay, so we're going to come in on the visual for runway 17. Obviously, he's not getting... I mean, that's the airfield over there, and he's giving me a visual runway 17. But because I'm IFR, because the Beyond ATC VFR module hasn't come out yet, like I could cancel my flight plan and be far closer to the airport to get into the circuit. You know, that would be quite fun. But I am looking forward to the Beyond ATC VFR module when it comes out in its fullness. I should probably put the landing lights on now. Let's just go to my before landing checklist. Now that we're leveling out, let's just pop in some more torque. So seatbelts are secured, fuel selectors are on both. Let's just double check the tanks. Now, this is one thing I didn't talk about. Why is this... Okay, 4 Celsius, thank you. One thing I didn't talk about was apparently the fuel flow in this simulation is very, very realistic, in the sense that if the aircraft is wobbling or if the aircraft is parked on an angle, the indicators within the tanks themselves will read inaccurately, and apparently there's cross flow. So like if Yeah, they can have an uneven load in the fuel tanks very easily.
Descend and maintain 1,400. Mahalo 601.
Mahalo 601, turn left, heading 230.
Turn left, heading 230, Mahalo 601.
I mean, he's doing his job. 1,400 feet. Let's just hit the B key to make sure we've got the correct.
Mahalo 601, report is at your 10 o'clock, 5 miles. Report the field in sight.
Yes, field is in sight. Thank you.
Field in sight, Mahalo 601.
Mahalo 601, cleared visual approach runway 17.
Cleared visual approach 17, Mahalo 601.
Okay, autopilot off my aircraft.
Mahalo 601, contact Lady Tower 128.4.
Over to Tower 128.4. Mahalo 601, visual runway 17.
Okay, inertial separator as required.
601, Leisure Tower, wind 220 at 26.
Actually,
Gust 36,
I'm going to turn that on.
cleared to land.
Condition
Runway
lever
17 cleared to
high
land.
idle.
Mahalo 601.
Before landing, condition lever high idle. Yes, it is high idle. Propeller lever full forward. Full forward. Flaps as required. And autopilot disconnect. Okay, so the landing checklist is next. So for the landing checklist, flaps. Okay, we're not ready for the landing checklist yet. I'm not going to look at chat until I'm on the ground. Okay, let's pull the power and begin to decel. That's 1,000 feet. He gave us 1,400 feet, but I'm going to hold at 1,000 feet until I'm closer to the runway. And I'm going to decel. Okay, I'm going to go my first notch of flaps. Completely visual now at this point. Not worrying about my heading bug or ADI or anything. I've just got my head out the window. So first notch of flaps. 100. We're below 100 knots, about 95 knots. Let's go second notch of flaps. Little bit of a wobble there, which is expected. Third, full flaps are now set. Look at that. Those are indeed full flaps. Now we don't want to get too slow. Okay, let's go beta after landing, brake and power lever idle before. Okay, gonna get rid of that, and I'm gonna just be quiet now so you guys can hear. And I'm not gonna open that window for obvious reasons. So actually, I'll take my and you'll hear the beta range and the reverse prop once we're on the ground. Beta, flaps up. Next available. Okay, we don't want the bulk landing checklist after landing. Flaps retracted, pitot heat can come off. Ice protection off, strobe lights will go off as soon as we're off the active. Taxi recognition light on, we can put the landing lights off. well, yeah, we will. Strobe light, let's just take it off now. Save us time. Landing lights off, condition level low idle. That goes on low idle. Weather radar can go on standby. There we go, on standby. And inertial separator as required. Let's pull that in, because if we look on our engine, let's just monitor the FOD. Okay. And the shutdown and securing is the next. There's the VOR.
Hello 601. Contact ground 121.9er.
Ground 121.9er, Mahalo 601, have a good one.
15%, yeah, 8, it just went from 15 to 8% of FOD type. FOD, it even gives you the type of FOD. Look, that's impressive. So small gravel. We have an 8% chance of small gravel on this particular taxiway. And of course, if we hadn't got the inertial separator engaged, that 8% of FOD over the flights would gradually be degrading our engine. So the simulation, the engine simulation here is very impressive. I really like it. Very good. Request taxi to assigned ramp.
601, request taxi to allocated ramp.
I'm gonna just taxi in beta because
Mahalo 601, ramp
quite
26, taxi via Bravo, Delta. Hold short, runway 21.
okay.
Ramp 265 Bravo, Delta, hold short runway 21, Mahalo 601.
Right. I remember the gateways and DOS operating system. I learned programming on IMB XT80 PCs and Texas Instruments. It's a bit too slow. Mini computer with drop and disk drives. Wow. Drop-in disk drives. Wow. So, looks like going down into the beta range, the taxi speed really falls off. Okay, folks, so having seen what we've seen, which is super cool, what we could now do is we could now go to the float variant. Because for the amount of time we have this evening, what I could do is on Monday evening, I could do another live stream, and I could live stream the non-cargo pod variant, because that's the third of the 3 variants. So I could stream the non-cargo variant, the non-cargo pod variant, down this cargo pod. But this evening, I could then once I do a full stop, we could just jump in the float variant, and we could fly around with the floats around Hawaii for a bit. I think that would be really fun. So I'm supposed to do a hold position here.
Mahalo 601, cross runway 21 at Delta. Continue taxi via Delta.
All right. So
Cross runway 21 at Delta.
So
continue taxi via Delta. Mahalo 601.
Beyond ATC never used to tell you to hold before a runway and then would give you further taxi instructions. So that's something that's changed, which is really cool. What we can also do is once we stop, before we jump in the float version, we'll just take the drone camera and look around the airfield, because it's a really nice airfield. Just pop on the strobes while we're going across a runway, which is just good practice. Okay, we're just gonna stay on Delta for the moment. Yeah, but I'm so glad, guys, that I figured out this this system here and realizing the correct options for this to work, because I was testing this aircraft for this live stream this evening earlier today, and I was just going round and round in my head, just trying to figure out how on earth this was supposed to work, and I just couldn't figure it out. And I thought, It must be a bug, but of course it's not. Which the devs, the Just Flight devs, told me when they gave me the pre-release. They said like it's a super well coded, super well polished aircraft, even in pre-release. If there is an issue, double check, because it could, you know, the issue could just be that you've made a mistake, and you know, lo and behold, I have. You can actually see that's cool for scenery. Sorry, I'm just gonna pause here to actually have. I just zoomed in a bit too far. To actually have the tie downs on the apron actually modeled is a step is definitely a step further than I'm used to seeing for a scenery. So that's really good. Okay, let's just choose a spot here, and okay, the braking is a little bit crazy because taxiing above beta range is the only way you really get some good push in the aircraft on the ground. But then if you do that, okay, parking brake set, avionics off, standby alternator can go off, fuel boost pump can go off, heat and air conditioning all off, we never turned it on anyway, power lever idle for 1 minute, yeah, we've got it on idle, propeller lever feather, so let's pull it down into the feather detent, condition lever can go on to cut off. Let's just leave it in idle for a little bit longer. Thank you, Boris. That was a pleasure to listen to. And you can see the very kind of long and gradual spool down time of the turbine there. And interestingly, I think this is an interesting point. The propeller doesn't turn with pistons, and you can see that because a piston aircraft, there's a wobble. There's like a wobble resistance to the propeller as it spins. So you'll often see with a piston, whether it's an inline or radial, as the propellers turn and slow down and stop, as they come to the slower position in the slowdown process, the propellers will come along and then they'll go wobble, 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 stop. So there's like a threshold that you have to push through for the propeller to move, and it's because the pistons inside have inertia, and that's creating this like little wobble effect. But with a turbine, it's a smooth graduation all the way down to a stopped propeller, and it just comes and comes and comes and comes, and then it stops. And I just wanted to watch that with you guys just to see what that was like. But the audio of the D-spool was really nice to listen to as well. Okay, so doing that, let's do stereo lights going off, like so. Battery switch can now go off. Fuel selectors can now go both off. Oxygen off, we never turned it on. Inertial separator can now go off. Okay, so let's pop the control lock in. And let's now go to the wheel chocks, rudder lock, pitot covers, engine covers. So, that, ladies and gents, is the BlackSquare. That's a point-to-point BlackSquare flight, following all the checklists as far as I can follow them. I'm not an expert, obviously, but that's what it is from me. So what we can do now is we can jump into the float version and see how that feels. That's going to be a lot of fun. Let me just quickly jump around this airport in the drone camera and have a look what's going on. So we have the control tower. Oh, very nice. Wow, he's actually modeled the individual the plates. Look, those are actual. Look at that. He's actually got the edges and everything. Wow. Don't tell me the individual keys. No way. No way. He's got the individual keys on the keyboard. Physically modeled. Look at that. Who is this? Wow. I am impressed. This is really what you're able to do nowadays with LODs. Like, that's incredible. Yeah, and then that's yeah. Wow, that's really amazing. LODs are, I mean, I'm only learning the beginnings of airport scenery development. I'm beginning my own journey in airport scenery development. And this really, I mean, look at the glass. I wish I could do glass like that. That really is beautiful. Oh, why am I able to do stuff like this? Look at this glass. I mean, that's the kind of glass I want to do. Right, enough of that. Let's just have a look around quickly. The rest of the airfield. So, some outbuildings there. Oh, helicopter base. Oh, wow. Lots of helicopter pads. Look at them. So, wow. Wow. That's cool. I mean, I don't fly helicopters in MSFS, period. The only helicopters I've ever flown are in DCS, because I've always held that DCS is a far better simulation of helicopter physics and flight dynamics than P3D or MSFS ever was. But things have changed. I can agree that things have probably changed over the years, and I might be wrong. Helicopters now might have gotten to the point where they're super good. Let me just have a quick look around the rest of the airfield. What have we got? We've got lots and lots of taxi aprons. We've got some biz jets down that end. 2 runways, of course, and then we've got the commercial stuff over on this side as well. Let's just I'm curious what Little Grand Rapids looks like in MSFS. There are also lakes around it that are used by float caravans. CZGR is that airport identifier. Love that sound. Nice. I wanted to see it with the float. Yeah, I wanted to see it with the floats. Okay, we're going to do the floats. My throat is kind of torn up at this point, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go quickly make another cup of tea. But in the meantime, let's go to the main menu, like you guys said. Go to the main menu and then go back in. Is that what you said? Go back in, and then that should have saved the persistence. We just reset and hit start flight. Should we then have the hours that we did before? Maybe? We'll find out. If not, I'm not terribly worried, because I'm sure at some point soon there'll be a fix in maybe Sim Update 5 or something. Okay, so if I jump in, no, the chocks and everything are not on. Oh no, but the avionics stack is the same as it was. Yeah, look at that. The avionics stack is the same. And the hours, yep, my hours are on the Hobbs meter. Okay, so I've done that. So now if I exit the sim and then start the sim again tomorrow, will it now be saved? I don't know, but we'll find. I'll find out tomorrow. Anyway, so let's go main menu. Let's go. No, I don't want to go to the marketplace. I want to go free flight, and I want to click on this. Okay, so you can see here. So there's the BlackSquare Baron. Right next to the Baron is the Caravan. So this is the Caravan without the pod, the cargo pod. This is the variant we were flying with the cargo pod. There's the Cargo Master. I forgot about the Cargo Master. There's that. And the float. So there's actually like 4. There's basically 4 variants. If you want to count the packs with no pod and the packs with the pod as 2 individual variants. But they're kind of the same thing, except one has just a bit more baggage and higher takeoff weights. But essentially, there's 3 main variants. It's the packs, cargo, and floats. So let's go look at the floats. I've actually not looked at the floats yet. So this is going to be a new thing. So so at the moment, there's 4 liveries. Some of them look cool. That's a cool livery. Oh, flytropic.com. Interesting. There's a red one. There's a blue one. I like the blue. I do like me a blue livery. Yes. Let's hit save. Okay, where was that you wanted to go, Nick? Let's have a look, Nick. Let's go departure CZGR. Little Grand Rapids. Oh, okay. Right. Interesting. So there are no like float areas around here. I have to be honest, Nick, I prefer not to fly in the middle of nowhere. What I will do is I will go, yeah, oh, yeah. In real life, there would be, you know, there's all sorts of things in real life in different places. What I think would be cool, actually, is to go to the Vancouver seaplane base. So I'm going to go to the Vancouver seaplane base. What is the weather doing in Vancouver, though? Let's go real world weather. Does Kelowna have? Let's have a look at Kelowna. Where is Kelowna? Is it up the? It's up here somewhere. There's Ketchikan. Oh, no, Kelowna's inland, isn't it? It's like in here somewhere. Edmonton, Calgary. There's Saskatoon, and Winnipeg's way over there, and there's Kelowna. Okay. I bet you there's probably not. There's probably nothing going on in terms of, unless it's a payware scenery where they actually model it. They specifically model something. The default isn't going to have any seaplane base ops thing going on in the nearby water. Yeah, it's just going to have the parking stands but the nearby water, you know, there's a okay, right, that's cool. Well, it's cool, but unfortunately, unless you have payware scenery, it's not going to really do much. But I do know that there's, if I zoom in here, you've actually got, yeah, look at that, you've got you've got beavers and stuff hanging around out there, which is really cool. Here, so let's go set departure and go start flight, and we'll go see what Vancouver has to offer. And I might, guys, for the we'll see how things go. Okay. Oh wow, that's quite some. That's interesting. Yeah, no. Oh crap! This is the problem. This is the problem. It's immediately gonna just like. I have to like set up really quickly because I'm just gonna drift. Is there a way in which I can like set a parking brake and it like anchors me? Water rudder, emergency gear extension. You see, if the wind was blowing onshore, I would get like thrown onto the beach, and that wouldn't have been good. But is there like a... Yeah, you see, if I pull the parking brake, I'm still moving in the water, so... Oh, right, okay, so I need to go to... One moment, guys, because this is the first time I've FlySimware, BlackSquare, aircraft, Caravan, cargo master, import all, replace. No, that's not what I wanted. Is that the one? Yeah, that's the one. Import all. There you go. So I've got the same exact views. Tail, right, nose, left, gear. There you go. That's it. All my views have come in. Okay, yeah, so I am just 100% adrift. But I guess that's okay. Right, so I'm going to do a really quick and dirty startup because, well, for obvious reasons, we're in the water and you've already seen me go through all of that. Okay, so let's just leave it as is. Yeah, let's call this a test flight. Okay, so oh crap, it's because, yeah, hang on. All my... There we go. Okay. Ignition on. Let's turn the ignition off now. And generator is off. Let's reset the gen. There we go. So actually, let me go to the settings. Yeah, global rendering quality. And we'll go to water waves, high. I think that's what I wanted. Save and back. Yeah, check that out. That looks much better. Let's go into the beta range. There's no... Oh, crap. Is ground power for the amphib a bass boat fishing? Yes. Yes. I'm going sideways. I'm going sideways. I don't like this. This is It's making me feel many things. Oh, okay, that's the water rudder gauge. Yes, right. Right, lads, is it windy? Let's have a look. Yeah, 13 knots wind. I'm now pointing into the wind though, thankfully. And I also need my avionics on. That would be fun. Whew. So, let's hit it. Oh crap. Hang on. That was terrible. You know why? My trim was really out of whack. But I'm bringing that under control now. That's it, Elsinore. I mean, that's all they do in Canada. I mean, bush pilots in Canada just use hand signals. Yeah, that's a fair point, Nick, because they're probably still frozen. This looks beautiful, to be honest. Oh, hang on. If I put those back... Yeah, the rudders actually lift up. The rudders actually graphically lift up and off the pontoons. That's cool. Watch. Look at that. So the attention to detail is again really good. Even in the float version, I'd say this is probably one of the best representations of a float plane that there is in Flight Simulator right now, in 2024 at least, based on the fact that this is BlackSquare. This probably makes, yeah. So this really makes me want to learn float planes properly for the first time. The only problem is we don't have like a Canadian canoe that's strapped to the side like we did for the A2A Piper Cub on floats. It had like a little Canadian birchbark canoe strapped to the side, and you could actually physically paddle. That's the problem with this, is when you start in the water, you're just immediately drifting somewhere. You're not able to just anchor yourself, whereas in, I think, the A2A Piper Cub, you were able to actually anchor yourself properly. Let's land inside this channel here. So let's fly downwind, turn left, and then come in and land in here. Or should we? Should maybe we land somewhere else? Have a look here. No, here's a good place. Actually, let's land near where my brother lives. Actually, my brother lives just over here. Let's just skirt around where that he is. Do a low pass. What is that? and being a turboprop, the engine power...
Gear is up for water landing.
Oh! Yes, thank you, that's what we want. Gear advisory. We want the gear up for water landing. Thank you. Oh yes, I learned about that. Apparently that analyzes what's underneath the aircraft, and if it senses land and realizes you've got the landing gear not extended, it then starts shouting at you. Let's get some flaps down. Okay, we're actually landing with a crosswind, which is a stupid idea. But let's do it anyway. Oh, I
Check
can...
gear.
Yeah.
Check. Gear is up for water landing.
Okay. Okay. Okay, it turns out that doing a crosswind landing with floats is a terrible, terrible idea. Oh yeah, so I need to do that. Okay, let's move around into the wind so that that's not a factor. Where is like the water splash effects? Is that not is there not a setting for water splash effects? Because I remember settings. I remember there was like, is it in special effects maybe? Sea traffic. Windshield effects. Water waves. Grass, trees, buildings. Characters. No, I don't quite. Sea traffic, road traffic. I remember flying one of the default float planes or seaplanes in MSFS 2024, and I remember seeing such beautiful splashes of the water effects coming off the floats. And I expected to see that here, and I'm not seeing it. I'm just wondering if it's maybe a special effect that haven't got turned on. I don't know, but I'll have to look another time. But anyway, let's go back and let's try and do another landing and takeoff and stuff here. So what I'm really interested in here is to see the dynamics of the floats, and to see coming up onto the step. Maybe if I go to my weather settings here. So what have we got now in terms of wind? Okay, got 2 knot crosswind. Right. Okay, we're down into the beta range. Okay, let's take off in this direction. Let's go. Okay. Okay, that was a relatively convincing situation. Flaps up. Okay, the ball and slip indicator is, you can see the ball and slip indicator. Definitely you need to watch with the floats because you've got to use your rudder in the turns a lot more than you would. Water rudders up for takeoff, please. Thank you, Chad. I will do that for the next one. I will do that for the next one. Thank you. Let's trim. That was a much better takeoff, of course, because I had the trim set far more correctly than I did the first time. So, yeah, you can see the ball and slip indicator still isn't. It's not 100%. You need to. So the torque and the effective torque on the airframe, especially with those floats, is going to be completely different than the cargo version or the PAX version, which is really interesting. Let's take off those landing lights now. So let's go back and land down at Vancouver. So let's just cut across the land here. Okay, trimming and getting ready for my landing off the left wing. They probably have like a procedure where they follow the riverway when they're flying down low. Obviously, then probably float planes are not flying this low over built-up areas, so they probably weave in along the river network. Okay, let's go first notch of flaps. See, yeah, you can see my ball and slip indicator. Whack in a bit of rudder there. Okay, let's get second notch of flaps in. And let's go third notch of flaps. Okay, I'm gonna do...
Gear.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Check gear. Check gear.
I'm going to do this landing on the inside.
Check gear.
I don't want to go any lower than 80 knots
Gear is
here,
up for water landing.
or I feel like I'll stall. going to take the middle of the river because there's weird kind of clipping at certain points
Check
because of
gear.
the
Mirrors up for water
photogrammetry.
landing.
Okay, let's go thrust idle. Let's hold the nose off and then... Oh! Nice. Down to beta. Flaps up. There we go. So I'm sure if we went into the manual, we'd probably get some information on the float plane version and information with regards to how to anchor so that the aircraft doesn't drift in the water. I think that would be very helpful. I have not read any specific float plane section of the manual yet, because I've not had the aircraft long, and I've only been focusing on just getting in the air and getting through the checklists and that sort of stuff. But it feels very, very capable, and it feels very fun as a float plane. So of course we have we have both the float plane Beaver in MSFS 2024, and we have the float plane, the float plane Twin Otter. My brain is starting to fail on me now at this point, but we have those two float planes, which we could also use as a comparison. Oh, I wonder. Oh, guys, you know what I'm thinking. Am I able to put my gear down? Yes, I am. No. Go, 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 go. Go. Yes. Lads. We have arrived. We have arrived. I never realized you could do that in a flight sim. That's really cool. Let's see if we can do the reverse now. Spin around. Oh, that was cool. I looked at the ramp and I was like, can we do it? Can we do it? Here we go. Tap the brakes. Oh! I am so impressed. I am so impressed. I am amazed. I'm genuinely just hats off. That was so cool. I mean, the float plane ops that you can do, I'd never realized I could ever do that. And I just, right, let's hit it. Oh wait, hang on. Okay, here's your water rudder up takeoff, Chad. Okay, let's go torque to takeoff. There we go, torque takeoff. Up on the step. There we go. And then finally, let's do a land touchdown. Let's just go and land on a Vancouver runway there, just to see that we can do it. Flaps. So it's gonna shout at me that I'm landing on land. It senses that I'm over the land, and it will then shout at me because I don't have my gear down, or at least it should. I thought it was, but it apparently wasn't. Oh, that's the stall. That's the stall warning horn. Reverse thrust is very powerful. All right, let's go look at those free car string wheels at the front. That's cool. See how they're free spinning, like. This whole thing is super impressive. Oh wow. I am super impressed by this. Brake. So folks, I think I might call that an evening. I have to say, I really loved flying this. I really enjoyed it. Oh, I guess the passengers get out of there. There's a ladder, and then they have to walk along the float, and then they step down the float. That's quite high. Yeah, Alogi, we'll have to catch this on the replay, but glad it's working now. Yeah. Yeah. What do I say? What do I say? Really, really amazing work. I don't know that I can really say... There's nothing bad to say about this at all. It's just amazing. It's beautiful. Let me just put the depth of field on. It's just genuinely stunning work. I think his name is Nick from BlackSquare, but like, the man is a legend. He's just made amazing work. Oh, it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful, though. And the amount of airlines and little dirt strips and things in Africa and all sorts of different VFR places and Papua New Guinea and all sorts of places you can fly this thing. And as an add-on, as an aircraft to invest your time in, it's so eminently usable. There's so many places in the world where these fly. And there's so many different ways to utilize it. You can use it on floats. You can use it as a cargo hauler, you know, into short, small strips. You can use it as a PAX version in and out of a larger hub, you know, like Vancouver. You know, you can use... There's a lot of usability, and I think this could easily be one of BlackSquare's best releases he's done yet, and may ever do. I don't know, but the Caravan, I mean, I flew the Caravan, the default Caravan with the glass cockpit, not on my YouTube channel, of course, but just for my own interest, when MSFS 2020 and 2024 came out. And I flew it a couple times. It was like, yeah, it's kind of interesting, kind of cool, but not into glass cockpits, and, you know, so left it at that. But now this steam gauge version with no GPSs at all, and let's just turn that off, thanks. With no GPSs at all, with this KNS 80, oh, this is me. This is me. I'm genuinely... So what I'm going to do... I'm going to call it here, folks, because it's 10 p.m. and I want to go to bed. What we're going to do, folks, is I'm going to come back on Monday. Now that I know how the KNS 80 works, I'm going to come back on Monday evening, same time, 7 p.m. And I'm going to do a VATSIM flight in the Caravan. So I'm going to put everything I've learned up until this point about this add-on, and I'm going to put it to use. I'm going to do the checklists. I'm going to fly it to the book as best I can, and I'm going to take this aircraft somewhere on VATSIM that has good VATSIM coverage, and I'm going to try and do the ATC, the comms, everything, and put it all together for you into as realistic flight as I can, and that's going to be a live stream on Monday evening. Obviously, this aircraft goes live for everyone on Tuesday at some point, I don't know when. Let me just quote to you, folks, some of the details the devs gave me before I call an evening to the live stream. Can I jump back into the drone cam, and is it in the same place as it was before? Probably not, but let me just do this because it looks nice. Auto. Let's just go to this sort of a view, I say. Yes. Splendid, excellent sort of view there. I say, what a corker. Right, alright, okay, sorry, yeah, so... Okay, so Scott's just gotten back to me about something that I told him, which now I've realized was my mistake. Okay, so here we go. So the price on Tuesday for this is, again, that's not the right email. Here we go. For the passenger you can buy the passenger version by itself and the cargo and amphibian version by itself. Okay, and those two individual packages are £34 each individually, or $38 or 48 euros. No, sorry, other way around. 38 euros and $48. That's for the passenger or for the cargo and amphibian. If you want to buy the package where they're both together in the bundle, so all three variants together, there's a discount on that, and it's essentially £45, 56 euros roughly. I'm just rounding up, or $65. So if you want to put the two packages together, that's what it costs. If you own the analog Baron from before, the BlackSquare analog Baron from before, the previous version, you get a 20% discount off the bundle, or a 10%, no, getting all this wrong, 20% discount off the single purchases, or a 10% discount off the bundle, right? So obviously the bundle is by far probably the best value. What else has he said in his email? More BlackSquare videos will be coming on YouTube, the Just Flight channel on YouTube over the next few days. Yeah. Release date Tuesday, 17th of March. So there we go, folks. A listener, Cessna needs to stop watering the 182. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. Yes. True. I super enjoyed that, folks. Like I say, I'll be back on Monday. I'll put a scheduled YouTube live stream link up on Discord and Facebook, but expect to pop back Monday 7 p.m. UK time. That should be when I'm live, and we'll get on VATSIM, and we'll see if we can make things happen on VATSIM. So until then, folks. Oh, by the way, just before I go, I'm also planning next week, probably Friday, to do a long, multi-hour live stream of some gliding, cross-country gliding. I'm going to do a long, like 1,000 nautical mile cross-country gliding attempt across the Rockies of the Midwest in a glider, and that's most likely happening on Friday of next week. So watch out for that. I will also have a scheduled live stream link in the live tab of my YouTube and on Twitch for those of you who are watching on Twitch. So yeah, that will be most of the day on Friday, depending on how long it takes me to fly 1,000 nautical miles on a glider. So I might start at like 9 in the morning and then just go until I can land. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. So that's going to be Friday, and then I'm going to next live stream this on Monday 7 p.m. So have a good evening, guys. Have a good weekend, and I will catch you later. Thank you very much for joining the live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for helping me learn various things, and yeah, look forward to flying it again soon. So I will catch you later.